for providing for us, and His grace is sufficient. He is the Lord Almighty, and we glorify Him for that. If it is your first time you come across this channel, the Camp Gilgal TV channel, I kindly request you to subscribe to the channel, and after you subscribe to the channel, you like the video. And after you like the video, you do what? You share it. And after you share it, you also comment. Drop some word at the comment sections for us to know how to answer or even to improve ourselves from your critics and from everything. May God bless you. This is Bishop J from Camp Gilgal TV channel. If you are already a member of Camp Gilgal TV channel, kindly appreciate you, and I say you are in my heart, and I pray for you. Each day the Lord give me the opportunity to put my knees down and to call upon His name. I pray for you. God bless you and God protect you. We are going to study a character, one of the character in the Bible, and to be honest, one of the popular character of the Bible, and everybody does speak about him, and everybody does take one or two of his mighty demonstration which God used him in the Bible and to speak about it. And he's one of the great writer in the Bible. He wrote 5 books. He wrote 5 books in the Bible. The first 5 books of the Bible was written by him, and that character is Moses. And he's a Moses. And we will talk about him as Moses, the humblest man in the world. He is the humblest man in the world. That is Moses. And it comes from the book of Numbers, chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12, verse 3 says this. Now, Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. And this is a testimony from God Himself. And God is the one who testifies about Moses being an humble man. And he is the humble man, not only humble, but very. We will arrive at that. Let's go. Now, under God callings and directions, Moses has miraculously lead the people out of Egypt with wonders and signs and miracles through his hands. And the people of Israel has to leave Egypt. They become free men. They are no longer slaves, and they left Egypt and to go to the promised land where God has promised them the land of milk and honey. But now, in their way to the promised land, and Moses become their leaders, obvious. But now, in the desert, there is hardship in the desert, and there is hardship, and hardship breed discontent of the people to Moses' leadership. But that discontent of the people to Moses' leadership is not accurately against Moses, but it is to be accurate, to be the way against God, because Moses was just a simple and mere representative of God on the earth for them to be taken to the promised land. But the people rose up, but the people go against Moses' leadership. And I can assure you, it's not easy to lead the people. And if you want to be a leader, and then you need to study the character of the Bible to arrive to understand how they manage to lead the people. Because the Bible is giving us a lot of examples of leaders who lead the people successfully. And one of them is Moses. where we found this testament, this statement about Moses' humility, it is about the situation that happened. That way we found Numbers chapter 12 verse 3. The situation has happened. And that the situation is about Moses' wife. Hear that. That situation is about Moses' wife. You find it in Numbers chapter 12 from verse 1 to verse 15 about Moses' wife. Moses' sister called Miriam and Moses' older brother called Aaron grumbling. They were grumbling about Moses' wife because she was of a dark skin. Racism. Let me say a little bit of it. Racism did not start today. Racism and the racist people, they've been there for a long time ago. And now, because she was of dark skin, she came from the region of Cush. She was a Cushite. And from that, they were not happy. The siblings of Moses were not happy about Moses. And then there is also some of the debates about this woman, which the siblings were complaining about. And others, they say, no, this is a second wife. I doubt and I do not believe that. That my point of view is still the same wife called Zipporah. Is not the second wife of Moses. It's still the first wife called Zipporah. Now, the father-in-law has brought Zipporah, the daughter, to Moses, as Moses as an husband. Now, Aaron and Miriam, they were grumbling about it. They were not happy about her. We don't know, if I can go deeper on this, we don't know what was really the issue of them grumbling. What we know is she was from Cush, and the Cushite is the region where black, dark skin were coming from. And that is, when they say Cush, when they say you are a Cush, they say you are a black. And that, they were not happy about it. And they were murmuring and they were talking bad on Moses' choice of the wife. Now, that's where verse 3 come in. I'll read it again. Now, Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. He was more humble than anyone else in the face of the world, of the earth. The Bible does not say just Moses was humble. The Bible says he was very. He was a very humble man. A very humble man. I'll give you briefly about Moses. The Bible does testify that what God did with Moses and through Moses, only Jesus Christ beat that. And we know Jesus was God, but as a man, only Jesus Christ has beaten what Moses did. Moses' hands did operate signs, wonders, and miracles. And he did it. Now the Bible is saying he is a very humble man. If we can bring Moses to a modern age church leaders, we will be shocked. And we will be shocked to see how I know people, once they so-called heal one person in a church service, their shoulder is gone up and they are becoming more anointed than anybody else. I know people, if you pray for somebody and the people that you pray for fall down. He changed even the name. He's a Magi, he's a prophet, he's an apostle, he's all of this. I know people, because they build a big auditoriums, for you to see them, they can tell you they are busy for the next 6 months. But here, we have a man whom he stood up. I will arrive to that also. He stood up in front of a sea, and the sea stopped moving, and he made people to cross on a dry land. Israeli cross in a dry land. He just made a bridge that was not built by any engineers of human beings, but that bridge was built by the engineer of Yahweh himself, and to make people to cross the land in a dry land. And this is a man whom they say he was a very humble man. I can add at this. There is a man called Jehoshaphat, one of the great historians of the Jewish people. He wrote, says, if you come to look for Moses, if you never saw Moses before, you only heard about him, but you come and say, I come to seek for Moses, I need to talk to him. And there is 10 or 3 men standing in front of you. People need to point to you who is Moses. Otherwise, you'll never know who is Moses. That's how his humility and being humble of Moses was. He does not wear other clothes. You know, some leaders today, they need to wear a clothes different to the followers. The follower, they can wear all uniform. He can't wear a uniform. He will wear something different for people to see he is out of ordinary. The leaders, they have a big chairs, sit on a big chairs. Then everybody know that big chair is for the leaders, and that's how it is. But Moses, who was very humble, that was not his leadership skill. And that was, he was very humble. He mingled with the people that he lead. He was inside the people that he lead. He know their daily routine and their daily problems, and he know their names. Let's go to this. Moses is not just humble, but very humble. I already say that. More than anyone else in the world. Now, the word that the Bible uses, humble, that word, the same word as meek come from, and that word, the adjective of the word anah, which is A-N-A-W, anah in Hebrew, came the word humble, 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 humble. And it also where the word, like it is in English, can afflict, where you are afflicted and oppressed, and that way also the word humble came. There is a man called Winheman. Winheman explained that word like this. This is the way Winheman explained it. He said, frequently the word seems to denote an attitude of a mind more characteristics of the poor than of the rich. That's why women say, when we say you are a humble man, it means frequently the word humble seems to denote an attitude of a mind more characteristic of a poor man than of the rich one. One of humility one of humility characteristic is dependency on God. If a leader depending on God, leader of the church, of course, this is Bible gospel channel. If a leader depend on God, depending on God in everything that he want to do, God will guide, God will direct him to everything. You must recall this. Moses did not last for a power. He did not last for a power. Moses did not seek to be a leader of the Jewish people. He was a prince in the house of Pharaoh. God made that action, and from that action, he ran away from death in Egypt. He went to Midian that way, went, and God revealed himself to him. And he sent him back in Egypt. And remember also, Moses didn't even want to go to Egypt. He gave a lot of excuses, but God is still choosing him. Oh Lord, please send someone else, Moses said from Exodus chapter 4, verse 13. But God has chosen him. The Lord tell him what to do. And Moses relay it to the people as they are marching orders. The Lord will tell Moses what to do, and Moses will relay it to the people, and the people walk as Moses says. He was just a spokesperson of God. That's why I differ with the leaders of churches of today. So when I did got this vision of mine, where were you? Vision yours? No, Moses did not have any visions. The Lord will tell him what to do, and he will relay it to the people, and the people will follow what he says. Those are the marching orders. You don't have a vision. You do not have a vision. Did your vision say you died at the cross of Calvary? No. None of our pastors, none of our leaders of the church today died at the cross of Calvary, and their vision is obsolete. Is obsolete and obsolete. And then he will go. Remember, even when the Israelites were with this obstacle, beyond them is Pharaoh and his army coming to them. And in front of them there is a Red Sea. They do not know where to go. If they go backward, they will be killed and slaughtered by the Pharaoh army. And if they go forward, they will get inside the sea and they will drown and die. But God has told Moses what to do. He just, I'll read it to this Amplified version. Say, why are you crying out to me, Moses? And then say, tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hands over the sea to divide the water so that Israelites can go through the sea on dry land. Exodus chapter 14, verse 15 and 16. We see how he created a bridge. Miraculous bridges come out and cross on the dry land. Their feet was not even wet. That's what God said. Moses cried to God and said, tell me what to do. And God has told him what to do. And it was with a mighty hand of Yahweh, they crossed the sea. They crossed the sea. Moses, more than anyone of his time, is totally dependent upon Yahweh. He was totally dependent upon Yahweh. If we want to learn a proper leadership, even to lead the church, I'm hearing people today say, you need to lead the church by your thinking capacity. You need to be this and that. You need to follow business skill for you to lead the church. That is all wrong. You need to depend totally to Yahweh. And by doing so, He will give you the model of how the church can be run. That's how it is. Then Moses, more than anyone else of his times, is totally dependent upon Yahweh. That he is the humblest man of his generation. He does not have to defend himself against the critics. God is his defender. And as you study his life, you find that he does not promote or exalt himself. Only when his frustration gets the better of him, and he become openly angry with his critics, then he's no longer a meek man. God has to discipline him. That is exalt Numbers chapter 20, verse 1 to 13. You see, that is the only time Moses' frustration get better of him, and God has to do what? To discipline him. That's how it is. In conclusion, if Moses is the meekest, most humble man, and Jesus himself is gentle and lonely in heart, that is Matthew chapter 11, verse 29. Then it follow that leadership and humility can coexist. It follow that leadership and humility can coexist. I have a lot to talk about, but the time is deceiving me. Leadership and humility can coexist. At the center of a biblical humility is a trust in and dependency upon God rather than yourself. At the center of a biblical humility, it is a trust in and dependency upon God, not yourself. Remember, I'm concluding now. Remember, Jesus called us first to be meek to our God. By doing what? To repent, to submit, to obey, and to follow. These are the first fruit of our humility. Once we are secured in God's strength, we do not have to be a self-centered dictator. We do not have to be a self-centered dictator in order to lead God's people. Yes, leaders direct and give order, but it is not about them. Self-centered, rather it is about the missions. The people we are called to care for and lead. You do not raise spies in your church to spy on your behalf for your leadership skill. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. Please don't do that. It's not about you. It is about the people that you lead. And those people, you need to depend and trust the Lord. And the Lord will give you direction. Jesus too gave us this example, a pattern to follow. You say, Jesus too is submissive to his Father at the same time as he is assertive to his missions. He is submissive to his Father. That's what the Bible in John chapter 5 verse 19 says. I tell you the truth, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can do only what he sees his Father doing. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord follow you. If we leader can remain in submission to God, we can exercise leadership of greatest honor, and we can remain humble. God bless you. See you next time. Bye.